Why, hello there. It's a wonderful Tuesday, November 16th. I think the jury's still out on Kyle Rittenhouse, but I also want to bring light to the next self defense case, the next Second Amendment case that will have the same repercussions. I'm sure if Kyle Rittenhouse is found guilty, this DA in Austin or Travis County will use that trial to convict Sergeant Daniel Perry. During our own little riot esque, if you could call it, I don't think it was complete riot. There were some minor damages, graffiti, a few broken windows, but not to the large scale that Kenosha got. We didn't get hit like some of the other smaller towns got hit. There's I'd probably say maybe 10 million to maybe $50 million in damages, and that most of that was cleaning up graffiti and sweeping the road. So Austin got hit rather lightly when it came to the non-protest part of the protest, I should say. It was mostly peaceful, and when you see the headlines, mostly peaceful protests, that would fit Austin's wannabe riot. Not saying what they're doing is right, not saying what they're doing was correct, because you should never riot, but you should be a little annoying, per se. But anyways, Sergeant Daniel, Police Chief Despution sheds light on Daniel Perry's case, which pretty much shakes up. This is talking about a detective that was told to change his testimony in a grand jury so they could charge the sergeant or Daniel Perry on a murder of, I don't think it really says it in this article. But anyways, he's retiring and he's pretty much citing this whole case, saying that the DA told him to change his testimony during a grand jury so they could charge this sergeant and he should be free. Now, I think his case is weaker than the Kyle Rittenhouse case, mainly because he's driving down the street, didn't realize that there were people there. He swerved, missed the people, and the people stormed him. So there's some provocations there. But the people stormed his vehicle, and I think there was a gunshot that was fired at his trunk. He saw some dude with an AK. I don't know if he was raising his gun, but all I know is that this sergeant had a 9mm. I think it was 9mm. Either way, it was a pistol, and he shot first and then drove out like a bat out of hell. That's right. He drove away. I think he went about 4 or 5 blocks, maybe even 10 blocks, several miles away from the incident, called the police, and surrendered. But it's a very interesting case because we got the shadiness of the DA. It's very mirroring Kyle Rittenhouse. And this is why he should be free. Austin police detective accused Travis County DA of criminal behavior in the case against Sergeant Daniel Perry. A district judge dismissed the claim, saying that he did not see any behavior rising to the level of criminal conduct by the DA. A homicide investigator with the Austin Police Department has accused Travis County District Attorney of forcing him to alter his testimony to a grand jury in the case against a man accused of shooting and killing an Austin protester. He's definitely was with Black Lives Matter. I don't know if his gun was loaded or not, but how was the sergeant supposed to know? In a sworn affidavit, Detective David Fugit wrote, I firmly believe the District Attorney Office is acting under the authority of Jose P. Garza, tampered with me as a witness. However, the district struck in reviewing this claim says he didn't see any behavior in rising the case to the level of criminal conduct by the DA, but it's definitely very sus. That is right, it's very sus. Anytime when a detective, let's go back to this, was it this one? No, it wasn't this one. I think it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. Doesn't really matter, saying that he had high integrity. Oh, there we go. If I had to pick a detective of the department who has got the most integrity and professionalism, it is David Fugit, ADB Chief Joseph Cacrone. Can't believe he's our police chief. I really can't believe. Fugitive affidavit was filed as a part of a motion by the defense counsel for Sergeant Daniel Perry as an active duty soldier indicted on murder on the deadly conduct in 2020 shooting of Garrett Foster. I am sad to see that Garrett Foster is no longer with us. Unfortunately, actions have consequences, and so does Kyle's actions, but so does Rosemar. Active duty deadly conduct. Perry's defense has asked the judge to dismiss the indictment handed down by the Travis County grand jury earlier this summer. According to the police, at the time of the incident, Perry was driving a car downtown during a Black Lives Matter protest. Police says he turned into a group of protesters when Foster's and other protesters surrounded the car. Foster was armed with a assault style weapon. It was an AK-47. Let's not mince words. It was an AK-47. Police said that the driver fired from inside the car, hitting Foster multiple times, but the Foster did not fire his weapon because the sergeant fired first. Perry's attorney, Clint Bronan, said that Perry fired in self-defense from inside of his car, claiming that Foster raised a gun at him. The document explains that Detective Fugit was the lead investigator on the case. In the sworn affidavit, Fugit claims that he had several conversations with the district attorney office regarding evidence that could have been favorable to Perry, but it became clear to me that the district attorney did not want to present this evidence. Fugit said that he was ordered to remove more than 100 slides from the presentation and felt that he did not have any other options but to comply with their orders. For example, he wrote, the district attorney also made me remove an animation from Daniel Perry's driving that night of the incident, coordinating with his cell phone records that would have refuted the deadly conduct charge, ultimately returning by the grand jury. Fugit ultimately said that he believed that the DEA conduct went from being highly unethical behavior to criminal behavior. In the hearing on Wednesday, the 147th District Court, Judge Clifford Brown responded, I'm just not prepared to jump with you across the chasm as they committed some kind of criminal conduct. Definitely ethical. Brown issued a statement Thursday following the judge's decision not to pursue claims further, saying that in the part that he was disappointed that the hearing was not ordered to get to the bottom of Jose Garza's action. It is important to recognize that Judge Brown simply concluded that the evidentiary hearing was not needed because the prosecution did not absolutely require to present exculpatory evidence to a grand jury, Brown's statement says. What does not change is that the top homicide detective of Austin Police Department is now stated unequivocally under oath, based on his 28 years of experience, that he believes that Mr. Garza has engaged in a felony offense of witness tampering. Kind of sounds like Lil Binger. And I forget what the other dude's name is. The Chris Farley impersonator. Judge noted that his long-standing relationship with the respective Detective Fugit, but insisted that the prosecutors get to decide how a case is presented to a grand jury. And then the issue I have with grand juries, they're kind of like a secret court. So you have a grand jury to determine if there's enough evidence to bring charges. Now, the level of being able to bring charges is a lot lower. The way I understand it is a lot lower than an actual conviction. But even if being charged, it still is a negative reflection on someone's record, because that charge, even though if they weren't convicted or not, is still on their record. And future job applicants can see that he was charged, that charge is there, and the verdict, of course. They may look favorably or they may not look favorably towards this person. Now, keep in mind that most people serve in the military for 20 years. And let's say if they go from like 19, or let's say 17 to 18 to 19. So that means when they get out, they're either going to be like 37, 38, or 40, which means there's another 20 to 40 years of working that they could achieve. Now, if they were to apply for a job, let's say they were on equal qualifications as someone else, they do a background check and notice that he has this charge of murder, they're probably not going to hire him unless they don't already like him, unless he just knocked it out of the park during the interview. So that's my whole issue with the grand jury. It's kind of a secret jury. I don't think the defendant is even able to be there. I'm not even sure if the defense attorney is able to be there. It's just the state's case, or the state attorney, or it would be the DA or whatever. When I say state, I mean the local government state, so the little s, will present their case to the grand jury to determine if it meets the requirement for a charge. I think each state does it differently. Still, the judge ordered that the district attorney office produce the transcripts from the grand jury proceedings and turn them over to Perry's defense counsel. Judge Brown says that the transcripts were of utmost importance, and the court hoped that they would alleviate some of the defense concerns, which pretty much backs up with the defense not able to address or, I guess, be in front of their accusers. Under federal law, grand jury proceedings are generally secret, and they're led by the prosecutor with no judge present. Oh, I don't like that. And the records are usually sealed. Representation from the district attorney office told that the judge that they would work to produce records as soon as possible, hopefully by the least by Friday. Now, this is an old article, so hopefully they got it. We take it very seriously, and we're trying to move as quickly as we can, said Guillermo Gonzalez, the director of the trial division of the DA's office. Brown also raised concerns about the statements obtained by the family of Garrett Foster and their attorney that Fugit said they were in consequence with prior interviews of the witness and even the video of the incident in question. Gonzalez responded by pointing out that many of the witness statements were recorded through body cam footage and were made available to the defense for review on July 6. Brown acknowledged that he might not have seen the statements on body camera footage which they were referring to. Judge Brown reiterated that his request for the DA office to turn over evidence and transcripts to the defense ahead of another hearing scheduled on September 15th, which has probably already happened. The judge told the defense that he was denying their request without prejudice, meaning that they could bring forward the motion to dismiss Perry's murder indictment again after reviewing the transcripts and statements. The judge also told the attorney that he wanted to review emails between Fugit and the DA's office on the matter, but he would do so in camera or privately. Like I said, the sergeant right here, unfortunately, he did kill someone. Unfortunately, this person right here is no longer with us, and that's a tragedy. I didn't really find a story that rehashes the video that I saw. Like I said, I think this case is kind of weak for self-defense, but I still think it's strong enough for him to get acquitted based off of self-defense, mainly because he wasn't either paying attention or whatever reason. He did kind of swerve to avoid the people, and that can be an act of aggression or provocation, which resulted to the mob mentality taking over, becoming a zombie mob to swarm his car. So that's probably going to be the crux of the defense, is that he almost hit people, and that act in itself is provocation, which means that he may not have right to self-defense. Like I said, it's a weaker case than Kyle Rittenhouse, but it was on video camera. And I can see where the bullet in the trunk of his car and this dude having the AK that may or may not have been raising it at the time, and the fact that he was a sergeant at Fort Hood and probably served a couple of tours, so maybe just on reaction. When I say reaction, reflexes, he determined that he was a threat, neutralized the threat, kind of scared the zombies, well, I'm calling zombies, but the mob away from his car, which allowed him to drive away. Now, I don't know what would happen if he were to just drive away without shooting, because that's not the events that unfolded. The issue is we have three gunmen, And I don't know if we ever found out who the third gunman was. We got this person right here, which was the driver, this person wielding an AK, and then the person that shot the trunk. Now, I don't know if this person shot the trunk or was a third shooter. We don't know. I haven't really heard any stories about it. And the stories I'm hearing is about the corruption at our DA. Now, if I understand correctly with my memory, which can be spotty at times, this district attorney ran unopposed. He won his primary, and the Republicans just slept on and didn't give us someone else to vote for. And this person's definitely a Democratic Socialist of America member. Not really a good win for Travis County, but it's to be expected. I kind of wish that the Republicans put someone up so I could vote against this person, and I don't believe I voted in this particular section of the election. I did vote for other people. So, yes, I know this is going to be a long video. It's almost like 16 minutes. So I'm going to end it right there. Comment down below what your thoughts are. Did I miss anything? Do I have this completely wrong? Or do you agree with me that this case is self-defense? Did you see the video? Leave a comment down below and smash the like and subscribe button on any or all platforms, or just the platform that you're currently watching on. And most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.